Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is Go Again, a fabulous video cast covering the trading card game Flesh and Blood. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando. Hello everyone, and welcome to Go Again, a fabulous cast here on the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. So we are in week 2 of Crucible of War spoiler season, and man, it did not disappoint. We're finally getting what we all wanted, which is alternate weapons. Well, I don't know if it's what everybody wanted, but it's certainly what I wanted. So that's what we're talking about today, is all the cool new weapons that we've seen this week from Crucible of War. So we're only a couple of days into this spoiler week, and man, it has not been disappointing. So far we have seen weapons from everybody except for Wizard. We have not seen anything for Wizard yet, at least to my knowledge, and we've actually seen a neutral weapon, which is pretty cool. So what's really cool about a lot of these alternate weapons is a lot of them are one-handed, whereas we'd had two-handeds before for everyone except for Ninja. One thing to note about those, which initially when I saw them I was like, oh, that's well, just stick with me here, right? What we're seeing, so I'll show it up now, right now, right? Mandible Claw, for example, is a one-handed weapon, so meaning you need two of them, and there's two versions of them, and if you note, they are different card numbers. So there's a 004 and 005, for example, for Mandible Claw. The reason that's not a bad thing is because so far they're all commons. Right, so if these were Majestics and there were two versions of them, you could kind of make the argument that, oh, that's kind of cheap that they're using up an additional card slot, saying that they have a, say they have a 150 card set, but it's not actually 150 cards because it's doubles. Right, it's not a big deal because it's commons. Like, it's just not. So that's I get that complaint. I understand it. Initially, that was something with me, but it's really not a problem because so far we haven't seen anything that's not a common, right? If they weren't commons, that'd be maybe a different argument, but I don't think it is. So anyway, let's get right into this. We're going to go into full analysis on what we've seen, comparing it to the original weapons. So let's just start. We'll go in class order from Welcome to Wrath through Arcane Rising, and let's start with Brute, right? So Romping Club, you guys know I didn't like the Brute. I haven't put a whole lot of mental energy into playing him. That whole discard mechanic thing really just turned me off. It's not that I couldn't figure out how to use it. It's just that I just didn't like it. It just seemed too, I don't know, rope-a-dopey to me. Either way, right? Fact is, he's got these Mandible Claws now. The 2 for 3, again, it's utilizing the discard mechanic. So if you've discarded a card with 6 or more this turn, gains Go Again for both of them. So remember, to use them, though, you only need to discard one card, right? Because it has Go Again, you've already discarded that card. Again, I don't know where you're getting all the cards to do this for, because you're discarding it, right? You're paying for 4, you're discarding a card. Do note that this alone doesn't let you discard a card, so you do have to discard the card somehow. Yeah, I don't know about these 2 for 3 kind of, right? You compare it to, right? I mean, we've kind of established a baseline of what's good, which is the 1 for 3. These obviously have more to them. I grant you this, right? But yeah, I don't know that these ones are super great for Brute. But then again, Brute hasn't been performing all that well, right? Overall, so. We'll see what some of the smarter people than me can do with this one. I don't. It just doesn't appeal to me. But then that's again, that's dog in the fight. I wasn't appealed to Brute before, so I don't know about these. It is kind of cool that they both trigger off the same discard, right? So it's not like you have to discard for each attack. They each trigger off the same discard. But again, you're discarding a card, usually at random with brute, and then you have to come up with 4. And I don't know, maybe there's some super setup combo that makes this guy work. I hope there is. That'd be really cool to see. All right, next we're moving into what I personally think is the sexiest card that we've seen so far in terms of, well, I should say the sexiest weapon that we've seen so far, which is the Sledge of Anvilheim. This is the Guardian weapon. For 4 attack, it's worth 6. That's it, right? But that's not it, because that's just straight up, like, you can literally just, like, you pull this and you have a deck, right? You just put 2 and 3 pitch cards in your deck, and that's your deck, right? And some attack reacts, right? What is it, pummel and whatever the heck else we see, and whatever heck else you can come up with, right? I mean, this is pretty hot. I think this is really hot. I think you play this over Anathos all day long, like, no question about it. This is a really, really good card for Guardian. No, I mean, this one's really good. Next, so Zephyr Needle. So once per turn action for 1 attack, go again, right? So compared to the Harmonized Kodachi, where you have to have stuff in your pitch zone with 0 cost, which, to be fair, wasn't really that hard to do with Ninja with your deck build. It is interesting here, though, that if Zephyr Needle is defended by a card with defense greater than its attack, destroy a Zephyr Needle when the combat chain closes. My question would be how the triggers work here, because in my head, with the way this works, is because this card's worth 2, right? So say this is worth 2 and I swing with it alone. If they defend with a 3, that implies to me that it would break, regardless of if I attack, right? Because it was defended with a card that was bigger. But I could also see the ruling that being that, like, if you somehow played an attack react that boosted the attack of the needle, that it then wouldn't have been defended by a card that was less than it, right? Hopefully I'm being clear with what I'm saying here, right? So my point is, like, initially I swing for 2, they defend for 3. Does it break because it was defended for 3? If then I play an attack react and it's not worth 5, right? So 2, 3, that definitely breaks, but 2 plus 3, or 2 plus, let's even say 2 to make it a 4 greater than a 3, does it still break? I don't know, right? So that's odd. So this one is, I mean, straight up math, it's better than the Kodachi, except for the whole break thing, right? So what's interesting here is, from my understanding, right, you can play 2 one-handeds together, right? So you could play a needle and a Kodachi together, which I think's also pretty neat. You can kind of mix and match, because that way you can kind of get the sexy out of it. If it does break, you're still not completely screwed, because a lot of times with Ninja, you're only kind of using it once anyway, because you're playing those combo stuff, or at least that's my experience playing Ninja. So I can definitely see, bringing 1 needle and 1 Kodachi. I think that's probably the way to go here, but I would be interested to see how that ruling works exactly, right? Does it have to be defended, right? Is it instantaneous, or is it at the end of the combat chain? I think that's really, really the question I'm asking here, right? So if anybody of you know, please let me know in the comments. All right, Warrior time. I will admit I'm surprised. I did not expect the Warrior to get dual wield capability, right? So that kind of implies to me, with how many dual wields we're seeing, right? Not just switching it up, but, like, are there going to be cards out there that, like, give some sort of weird boost if you are dual wielding? I mean, maybe, right? So Centauri Saber for 1, swing for 2. If it's defended by an attack action card, gains +1. So, I mean, that's pretty. It's basically a 1 for 3-ish. I mean, it's 1 for 2.5, right? Because on average, I'm saying, right? So, yeah, it's interesting. Now, do you remember that this is, right, most of Dorinthia's cards, so I went back and looked at them, they don't specifically say, they don't say two-handed weapon. This is, I mean, this still works, right? So, because they're all swords. So, point is, like, all of Dorinthia's cards, like Warrior's Valor and all that, gives the next weapon, is what it says, go again. So you can still use all of her basic stuff to get these to fire off together, right? So the fact that this doesn't have go again or can't get go again is irrelevant, because It's a pseudo same strategy as Dorinthia. They cost the 1, you just don't get the boost. But I mean, I think I don't know. I think it's about the same, to be honest with you. But again, we haven't. Again, remember we're evaluating all these cards in a vacuum, not having seen everything else in the set. So I think all in all that these are roughly the same. They hit for less if they're not defended. I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes. I'm not. I don't know which is better at this point. I'm too familiar with how Warrior plays at this point, trying to get the combo-y stuff off and get those counter right. It's just all about keeping the counters on the blade. And now you don't have to worry about it, right? Because you guys, well, maybe you saw my last cast where I was talking about playing a lot of the zero cost stuff and just kind of counting on Dawnblade to hit once. And the Centauri Sabers would kind of fit into that strategy maybe better. I don't know. I know I'm kind of waffling on a lot of these, but I mean, this is all hot off the press, so I'm trying to wrap my head around it. So, the Teklo Plasma Pistol versus the Plasma Barrel Shot, which is the new one for Mechanologist. It's basically a pistol versus a shotgun. I don't know. I mean, it shows it in the pictures, and that's the way it goes, right? I mean, it costs you more to it costs you 2 to put a steam counter on, but it blows a much bigger wad. I mean, I don't really know what more to say there. Like, it's depending on. I definitely can see it absolutely opens up the deck building possibilities for Mechanologist based on how you want to play this, and I think that's really cool. I think this is the one that, aside from Guardian, that I've seen that really opens up the deck building possibilities the most. I mean, you're still going to be using a lot of the same stuff, obviously, but I think this one's really cool. I don't know. I mean, multi-hit is definitely pretty good, but shooting for a whole bunch is pretty good too. So, this is the one that I'm torn on. So Azalea, well, I should say Ranger at this point, because we're maybe going to see another Ranger. I don't know. But Redliner versus Death Dealer, right? So Death Dealer, remember, is 1, if you have no cards in your arsenal, fill your arsenal, and then draw a card. Redliner is just straight up for 0, fill your arsenal if you don't get to draw. But you do get to do it face up, right? So for your hamstring shots and stuff like that, you do get that advantage. So I honestly have no idea which one of these is better. Probably lean towards the 0 cost right now, but card draw is a pretty big deal, right? So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have to try them and get them on the table and see. Right? I honestly don't know. I've gone back and forth like 3 times since I've seen this on which one I think is better. So, all right. So Reaping Blade we'd already seen. Compare that to Nebula Blade. I like it. I think this one's better for Runeblade. It's just that 1 for 3. I get that there's no go again and all the sexiness on that, but I really think that Nebula Blade's just better. Reaping Blade's better. Obviously, Nebula Blade's way better for like the combo-y stuff, but Reaping Blade's just more consistent. So, and to be fair, maybe there's an argument to be made that like Nebula's better for the standard game and Reaping Blade's better for Blitz. Maybe that's just the way it is. And that's it for the class-based stuff. But we did see a generic weapon, which is interesting. I'm also having a hard time getting my head around this one, right? So Talishar the Lost Prince, 2-handed sword, looks like a big old. Actually, it looks kind of like a big old dagger, but I'm sure it's like a huge sword. But once per action, for 2, put a rust counter on it and attack. At the beginning of your end phase, if it has 3 or more rust counters on it, destroy it. I don't know that this is that good, right? Because 2 for 4 doesn't seem great to me, especially when you can only use it 3 times. I just don't. I'm not seeing. I mean, maybe there's something out. There's probably something out there that I'm missing. I'm just not seeing it right now. I mean, this is only a rare, so maybe it's not that big of a deal here, but yeah, I don't know. We will have to see here. Anyway, so that's the rundown. I know I've been very waffly on this whole thing all day. But it's still, like I said, still trying to get my head around what I think is going to be good and not. That Guardian weapon looks super sexy. The Azalea weapon, I have no clue on. Like I know, like I said, I've gone back and forth. But Guardian's got to be real happy with what we've seen over the last couple days. I think that one was two. I think that one's yesterday. Yeah. And anyway, so I've said a lot of stuff here. Let me know why I'm wrong, because a lot of you guys have experience with other classes that I just don't have. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Those guys who like to play other classes, leave it in the comments below. Nothing else. Go Commando.